Traffic.
Continuing our commitment to bring you the news and information you need.
I wake up, I turn on the radio.
Get your day started at 5:30 a.m. with Canton's Morning News with Pam Cook. We're live and local on News Talk 1480 WHBC. On air and on demand, it's the Gary Rivers Show on WHBC.
10:33 on News Talk 1480 WHBC. I'm going to start off with a little bit of a protest. It's been so busy in here. I left my coffee in my office, and I've not been able to not that I need the help in getting wired up in the morning, but oh my. Well, we've got some guests in the studios this morning. Ray Hexamer, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Gary.
And Mark Samolchik. I hope I always get that name perfect. Good. All right. Why these two gentlemen are in this morning is I've been hearing about this really since August, and just haven't had a chance to really sit down and say, let's talk about where Stark County is going. The end of the year is a perfect time to talk about this. So the Stark Community Foundation commissioned a thing called Strengthening Stark. What is it?
Well, Strengthening Stark is I'll say a rather sobering perspective of the state of the local economy in Stark County. And the genesis of the work that became Strengthening Stark really started in August of 2015, so 2 years prior to release of this white paper. And it began with a small group of about 7 organization leaders in Stark County that came together to talk about what can we do to try to assist other organizations in Stark County be more successful than they have been. From that beginning, and the one thing that we did with the group, and it was still is a very informal group, there's no leadership, there is no budget in place, but we were smart enough that we hired a facilitator to keep us on track.
Got it.
And that facilitator was Chris Thompson from the Fund for Economic Future. And over the first 12, 15 months of the meetings that we held, we would meet once a month with a set agenda, talk through a number of items, and it became apparent that we as a group needed to get our arms around what was happening in Stark County from an economic development standpoint. And so in the spring of this year, the group came to Stark Community Foundation and asked us if we would be willing to create and then publish this white paper that became Strengthening Stark.
All right. So then you mentioned the word that just put a fear down my spine, that word sobering look. Tell me why it's a sobering look at Stark County.
Well, we had an inclination before we started this work that we really didn't understand what was happening in Stark County from an economic development standpoint. What we know even across Northeast Ohio is that the region is not prospering, it's not growing as quickly as the rest of the country, and Stark County is part of that region. And so as we did the research, and Chris Thompson ultimately became the author of this white paper, he presented some facts to us that were, I will say, very sobering in terms of the overall theme of the writing. And we take a look at it from the standpoint of here are issues to be addressed. Here's what might happen if we don't address these issues, and then we have a series of recommendations. And what we learned from the facts that are presented in the white paper is that if we continue on the same course that we have been on, we as a community will become smaller, older, and less prosperous. And so that, when you look at that, and we have facts in here to support that, when you look at that statement, that's what I would call sobering.
Got it. Yeah, it's very sobering. So, in that white paper, can I find 5 pages of solutions, I hope?
You'll actually find 1 page of recommendations.
Okay.
We have a series of 7 or 8 recommendations that we have presented. Some of those are being acted upon as we speak. And I think Ray can speak to that better than I can. And it was important to us as a group that we simply didn't say, okay, here's the status quo. Now you figure it out. And what we as a community foundation have done in publishing this is we've attempted to change the conversation that is going on in Stark County, and that is in fact happening. And by that I mean that for too many years we talked about the same issues over and over again without really meaningful impact. and I think that the work that we have here and the work that has gone on since this was published at the end of August we're beginning to see some of that impact, and it's focused around these recommendations that we've made.
All right, let me ask you something, gentlemen. This kind of white paper, do other communities do this? Have other communities done this before? And are they seeing, great results from it?
Well, I think, I know the folks that we commissioned an organization called Jumpstarts that's working with Chris Thompson's out of Cleveland, does this around the country.
Okay.
It's not unusual, but I look at it, the Stark Economic Development Board, which is playing a part in trying to change some of these trends, is that it's like a business. It's no different than the radio business or any other business. If you see trends going on and your customer base is getting smaller, older, and poorer, you have to do something to change that model. So it usually starts with a business plan.
Right.
And that's
that
what
makes
we're doing.
sense.
And part of that is what metrics we measure. And I always share that in my year of doing this job, people come up and say, well, how many jobs are we going to create? And at the end of the day, there are other metrics that we're going to try to get to measure as a community, like what is the poverty level? Because Mark faces that in the foundation's end of that's an issue.
Yeah, all the time, sure.
What's the median sale price of a house? What is the employment level? What we find then is to try to get a little deeper into that to see what are the tactical things that we can do to address that. Right now, workforce is a huge issue. There are a lot of jobs in Stark County that organizations can't find people to work for.
And why is that?
Well, the unemployment rate's probably lower than it's been, and then I'll describe it a little bit. Is what I see and what we're hopefully trying to figure out is it's like a dating service, all men seeking women and all,
right.
And they aren't connecting. So we're trying to connect them because for us, the real opportunity is if you fill the jobs that you already have open, that gets the economy and some of those trends that we're looking at turned, but. This didn't happen in 12 months. It's going to be a process for our community to go through. However, what's been wonderful about what Mark and the Stark Community Foundation has done is, just like you see in anything in Stark County, people are passionate about the community. So I can't tell you the response of people saying, what can we do? How can we help? And so we're engaging right now. Jumpstart is, I think today they're interviewing their 55th person. They're doing about 5-6 a day. Mm-hmm. After today, they'll have 55 community people. They have more on the list, and they have some tactical things we're doing as we plan to try to change these trends.
Does still it boil down to, though, you have to have businesses who are able to expand or who are interested in coming into town? Is that a big part of this push?
I think it's an important part of the push. One of the things that we found, excuse me, as we finalized the white paper, is that about a year and a half ago, Cleveland State University did an analysis of high growth companies across Northeast Ohio, not just Stark County, but Northeast Ohio. And the result of that work, based on a number of different metrics, is that there are as many as 100 high growth potential companies in Stark County, and that number could be as high as 600. So the question is, how do we nurture those local companies and help them grow to expand the economy?
And so that's all a part of it. It's working together to do that. Because the one thing that, we've probably talked about this thousands of times here. Stark County seems to be, at least to me, unique in that people want to work together. Or am I living in this little bubble and I just happen to talk to all of those people?
No, actually, you're very right. And what's been refreshing about this process, we have people that do economic development in Stark County. There's 23 of them that have come together, and we a lot of them for the first time. And we tend to be on our own community, focusing on.
You're talking about
things.
maybe Canton's doing this, North Canton might be doing that, et cetera.
And they're all doing good work. It's just getting everybody on the same page to say, okay, who's going to do this, and if this happens, how are we going to address to help this company grow or help a company locate here?
Yeah, as opposed to, although there's got to be some sort of. I can't show you this card because they might be moving into my town. Does that still happen? I'm assuming.
A little bit, but not as much as you think. Okay. Our greatest opportunity, I think, is growing the businesses that Mark talks about that
they're already here.
They're here. There's ones like Patriot Software out in Jackson Township that has developed a payroll system, and they're growing and looking for people. You have Spectrum, which is the Time Warner Charter that hired 120 people this year, helping those companies with state grants, with helping them fill workforce, to try to make this community a great place for them to grow.
Right. All right, it's 10:43. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll talk about maybe where it's going. Do you need others to join in on this? We'll find out what that's all about when we come back.
Gary will be right back on WHBC. Demand. A powerful word meaning dictate, call, to want something now. So when we at News Talk 1480 WHBC say on demand, we put the power in your hands. WHBC.com. Command the latest news when you want it. Call the latest weather and traffic when you need it. Dictate audio with our stream and podcasts anytime you desire. On air and on demand. WHBC.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-6038. That's 1-800-500-6038. 1-800-500-6038.
You've made the necessary sacrifices. Been fighting the good fight for as long as you can remember. And now perhaps it's time to enjoy a little fruit from all that labor. A bit of indulgence in the form of the new Ram Limited Tungsten Edition. Real wood trim, tungsten chrome accents, and an advanced technology touchscreen, all surrounded by a highly capable, hardworking truck that'll never let you forget what it took to get here. The new Ram Limited Tungsten, the most luxurious Ram truck ever. Ram is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
This holiday season, make the smart choice and switch to Sprint and get a new Samsung Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, or S8 Active with 50% off your lease. That's right, the hottest Samsung devices 50% off. Plus, with Galaxy Forever, you can upgrade to the latest Galaxy anytime after 12 lease payments. And when you switch to Sprint, you get the best price for unlimited. $25 per month per line for a family of 4, plus get a 5th line free. That's 50% off Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. You also get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot in HD, so you can stream your favorite holiday movies, music, and games. So stop by your local Sprint store, sprint.com/holiday deals, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 to learn more.
Requires 18-month lease and new line savings via monthly credit applied within 2 bills. Early termination results in remaining balance due after 1/31/19. Pay $38 a line per month with autopay. Excludes taxes, surcharges, and roaming. Compared to Verizon Beyond Unlimited rates, AT&T Unlimited Plus plan, and T-Mobile One Plus plan for 5 lines. Carrier features differ. Coverage and offer not everywhere. Subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules, and restrictions apply.
The national debt is now over $20 trillion. What happens next? Rising inflation drops in the dollar's value. Some experts say another crash is coming. You can fight this, not with stocks or bonds, but with gold and silver coins in an IRA from Augusta Precious Metals. Call 855-858-5807 and learn how an IRA backed by physical gold and silver can hedge against inflation. Call Augusta Precious Metals right now at 855-858-5807 and get a free gold IRA guide. Call 855-858-5807.
It's bonus time at Quality Heating and Cooling. Quality can get you an unbeatable deal on a comfort system with unstoppable performance from Trane. Buy a qualifying Trane system and get up to $1,000 trade-in plus special financing with approved credit only from Quality Heating and Cooling. Ask about our holiday gift for you when you purchase a qualifying furnace, and you may even get a free air conditioner for the holidays. Call today, 330-833-6025, or visit qualityheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a Trane. Shop the Hall for the holidays. One store with all 32 teams under one roof. You'll find the perfect gifts for every football fan. Shop the Hall of Fame exclusives. Shop for the entire family. Men's, women's, and kids' jerseys, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, collectibles, stocking stuffers, and more. The Pro Football Hall of Fame has it all. The Hall of Fame store is open daily, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and the shop is open to the public. Admission to the Hall of Fame is not required. Shop in-store or online at ProFootballHOF.com.
When the weather turns nasty,
significant storm,
turn to News Talk 1480 WHBC for the Akron Children's Hospital School Closings Report. Pam and Canton's Morning News will let you know whether brought to you by Akron Children's Hospital, where we have one focus: kids.
Now back to Gary Rivers on WHBC.
1049 and News Talk 1480 WHBC. We're talking about strengthening Stark. And, you know, this, to me, I'm really excited about this white paper and where it's going, because it tells me that the folks who are making things happen, or you think are making things happen, really are. Isn't that exciting to you guys?
Yeah, I think so. You know, and it was sort of God wink for me, because I'd left the community. I still lived here, but worked out of the community and came back. And before I took this job, started to look at some of the trending. And here Mark was already heading down that road. Yeah. And we had lunch one day, and he told me what he was doing. And he has a business background at the Timken Company, so we started to look at it as a business, along with all these other partners who are already doing it. So it was a movie that had already started when I was able to jump back in, and it's been incredible to watch what everyone has done to get it to this point.
So where is Stark County going? You're looking at all the trends. What's the hope or the end game, if there is such a thing?
You want to address that?
Yeah, I think is just like a business. You put a plan that you can execute. There'll probably be, I don't like plans that have pretty covers and sit on a shelf. So out of that, we're actually executing on some things right now. For example, Jumpstart and Team Neo have put together a database that we're sharing with our partners, that we can look at every business in Stark County and target the businesses that we feel are in that sweet spot to potentially grow, and increase our outreach to them to say, you know, here are grants that are available. What's your company, you know, working on or need to grow in Stark County? So that's one area that we're working on as we plan. The other is Jumpstart and Ohio Means Jobs have looked at every job opening in Stark County today. And then to try to figure out where those gaps are, because we have great universities around here. You have Stark State, which is great training. The thing can be turned, because if you look within a 40-minute radius of Stark County, there are 81,000 students today.
Wow.
And they don't need 4-year college degrees. We were out talking to Dave Kervin at the trade unions, who, if you get certified in certain areas, that you can make a nice living in Stark County. So it's trying to even get into the high school and below level to go, here are the opportunities there in Stark County if you stay and live here. Because if we can keep them here, right, that changes that population trend.
Well, something that people bring up to me periodically, it's about families having to work 2 jobs and dads working 2 jobs. Can we get to that place where these jobs are above minimum wage, higher than that, and can Stark County compete with Northeastern, with Cleveland, et cetera, or Akron in those jobs?
Well, that's part of the focus of the work that we are doing, and what Ray has just shared with you is on a very tactical level. But I think part of the importance of strengthening Stark is that we are engaging people across Stark County. You mentioned earlier about the collaborative nature of people in Stark County. As individuals, organizations are having these discussions, they're beginning to recognize the fact that we're not looking for just any job. We're looking for jobs that will pay a living wage, right, so that people are not working 2 and 3 jobs in order to take care of their families. And that is, you mentioned earlier about the sobering nature of this, or the words that I used. I think it is part of educating the community in terms of what we are attempting to do and why we need to focus on job creation that is increasing the level of income for individuals and not causing them to work 2 and 3 jobs. And that discussion is going on. Ray talked again at a tactical level of things that are going on. What we see also, and Ray and I have been on somewhat of a speaking tour across our county. We've talked to at least 12 or 15 organizations over the last 2 or 3 months, hundreds of people, and engaging them in this discussion so that when they go to work, when they talk to their colleagues, they're beginning to talk about the need for the right job creation strategies in place.
And and then you go from there. So this is a starting point, but are there phases in this? Phase 1 was getting this study done. Phase 2 is now going out and talking to people and developing it. And then, is there a phase 3? Is there beyond that?
Phase 3 will be tactical, figuring out roles that everybody will play. Again, I keep going back to it's like a business. Okay, right. Who's going to handle this? How are we going to handle, if a company says to us, we have jobs to fill. Okay, what are the processes we're going to do to try to help them fill that? So everybody in the community is working out of the same playbook.
All right. Okay. This is the big question. This is the big elephant in the room question. How optimistic are you about the future of Stark County?
I'm very optimistic. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say I'm at an 8 at this point in time, because what I have seen as a result of this work is we talked about the collaborative nature. Mm-hmm. It is even more collaborative than I ever thought, and I think that with the right basis of the foundation of discussion, the willingness of people to collaborate, the willingness of people to face the issues that we have, their recognition that we can't stay on the same path that we've been on, I'm really, really optimistic. And then we look at the issues, the plans that Ray and his team are pulling together. It's going to, again, create that business plan, that common playbook that we've never had before. And so I'm very optimistic.
I am too. I lived here all my life.
Yeah.
And what I love about our community is, I don't know if it's our football mentality. We don't like to lose.
Maybe that's what it is.
So it's like, okay, and you can't, somebody said, I love this line that data is the best antidote for antidotes. So if you go to hey, we're smaller, older, and poor, and that's the trend, they want to go, okay, what are we going to do and that's the response that we're getting. And it's not solved by one person. This is a community collaborative effort that we all need to work on, and I think we're going to get there.
Now, does this playbook and this collaboration, how encouraging is that to a mega corporation sitting in some city on another part of the planet and saying, I want to come to Stark County? Is that one of the things they look at?
Yes, they look at that, but it's very competitive. You saw that with the Amazon recent.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, did we make Did we get it?
No, we didn't get it.
We tried.
But we tried.
But it's we have to change that model too of how we look at that as a community. We've looked at. There's a gentleman that we brought up from 60 Minutes who's hired people that you just talked about. Hey, could I get a great paying job? He did that, but what he did was he gave land away. Put the infrastructure in to attract those businesses. And at the end of the day, that's what a business is going to look at if they want to come to your community.
Okay. So, and that's not really the focus of this then, is this? Or is it part of that?
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Yes.
It really is growing homegrown plus looking at outside and then anything else and hoping if somebody develops the newest widget, if you have the ability to help them take it from the ground floor and move it up.
You got it.
That's correct.
Wow. Well, you got a big job ahead of you guys. I'm glad it's you doing it and not me. But I'll be more than happy to interview you as you get these successes. I'd love to see it as it goes.
We'd be happy to come back.
All right. Well, looking forward to it. Again, if anybody wants to take a look at this, where is it available?
The white paper is available on Stark Community Foundation's website.
Okay.
So it's easily accessible. We also have hard copies. If you have organizations that would like to have hard copies of this, we're into our second printing of the white paper, and we've distributed over 2,000 of these now.
Awesome. All right. Well, 2001, if I can steal yours today. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. 1058 at News Talk 1480 WHBC. On the other side of news, Kimberly Schwinn from AAA joins us, and we'll talk about that holiday traveling you're about to jump into when we come back.
Gary will be right back.
Check out Gary's blog